Indochino. Whether it's finding a signature color, wearing a more flattering cut, or getting a new statement piece, the right detail can take your wardrobe up a notch. So when Indochino first came on, they offered us a voucher for a free shirt, and I jumped on it. I'd gained a bunch of weight during the pandemic, and, none of my dress shirts fit me anymore. You've heard me quote the great Stacey London on the show before. Shop for the body you have, not the body you want, and that's exactly what I did. I plugged in all my measurements, as painful as it was, into Indochino.com, and they sent me a custom-fitted shirt, and it looked, frankly, amazing. There's nothing better than a piece of clothing tailored to your exact measurements. Well, smash cut to about a year later, and I'm starting to get my ass back in shape again. I'm trimming down a bit. I'm seeing some gains in my shoulders. Great news for my health, but terrible news for my beloved custom Indochino shirt. But I ain't mad. I just updated my new measurements at Indochino.com, and I'm going full suit this time. At Indochino, every piece is made to your exact measurements, and you can customize every detail, including the fabric, lapel, monogram, and statement linings. You can create a suit that fits you and your style perfectly. The best part? Indochino's suits start from just $429, and shirts from just $79. That's with all customizations included. Give yourself a style edit that sets the tone for the rest of the year with Indochino. Get $50 off any purchase of $399 or more by using promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. That's $50 off a purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com. Promo code NODUNKS.
Sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Back in the Classic Factory here on a Wednesday, January 26th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Tass Mellis.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Tassie. We got our Top Shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. And finally, making the magic happen, possibly having a little bit of a rough morning over there. Super producer JD. We're still seeing the title, just so you know, JD. But
I know why.
Okay.
I know why.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the internet is seeing us.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good.
You
okay,
are
good.
being seen.
I love it.
Okay, that's all that matters then, JD. How you
I'll
doing,
fix
man?
it.
How you doing?
I'll be better in about an hour and 40 minutes probably.
Yeah, we were having some light troubles up here in the Classic Factory too, hence the late start for the stream teamers joining us live. Thanks for sticking around. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show, tell all your friends about the light problems these guys sometimes have here in the Classic Factory.
Yeah, and we're not seeing ourselves because we had another shoot going on, so we had to change the wiring.
Oh, Jesus. That would happen.
We've got a great top 5 coming for you that we filmed, so that's what's happening. That's what's going on. If you like,
here we go, JD.
If you like halftime performers, this top 5 is for you. Stay tuned to our No Dunks channel.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, top five later on our YouTube feed. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. Fun show once again lined up here. I think we have a ton to talk about. Sorry,
yes,
JD,
sir.
This is going to be longer than an hour 40.
You better stock up on energy.
Yeah, this will probably be 2 hours long today. We're going to get to the top trade candidates for each Western Conference team. We did the East on yesterday's Daily Show. We'll do the West later in today's show. We'll also share our thoughts on the new Rising Stars format when we get to Tweet of the Night, because that was the news breaking yesterday. But we start with the games from last night, and I thought it'd be a fun way to tackle these games and these crazy results with a little What You Got.
What you got? What you got there? What you got?
Yeah, what you got? First one, I need to know. What was the more devastating loss last night? The Kings losing by 53 points to the Celtics, or the Wizards blowing a 35-point lead to the Clippers? Trey, what you got?
Skeets, please call these two teams by their names. The Kangs and the Zards.
Yeah.
They were out in full force last night. Honestly, two brutal ways to lose, but I gotta go with the Zards for a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like the Kings actually flew under the radar, losing by 53 last night. They barely got a mention on the Daily Ding, just kind of tossed in there at the end. Oh yeah, by the way, the Kings lost by 53 as you were expecting. Number two, not the worst loss of the season. That was, of course, the Thunder by 73 not too long ago, so the Kings just second place, no problem. But number three, Skeets, thanks to you for this one. The Zards lost to the Nard Dog. I've seen the Bulls blow a 35-point lead. I vividly remember watching it on Twitter and the Bulls getting dragged. It's not fun. But they didn't lose with two bombs from Luke Kennard plus a 4-point play, all coming after a 5-second call when all they had to do was run to the ball and get it in. And the game is probably over at that time. But number four, this really sealed it for me. Wizards reporter Chris Miller describing the scene in the locker room after the game.
I was in the back watching them go into the locker room, and they were shell-shocked. I literally walked past Coach Unseld. This was stunning. Is this rock bottom? Is this what rock bottom looks like?
That's dark stuff, man.
It's depressing.
It's like he witnessed a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a game in January. Oh, my goodness. But, disgusting stuff from the Wizards. That was so bad that even if you just looked at the last 25 seconds, I think you would still say that that's the worst loss between that and the Kings losing by 53. The Wizards were up by 7 with 25 seconds left.
Yeah.
No.
You have to try to lose that game. So, I don't know. I think they should just trade every single player on their team today.
Well, it's fun to play body language doctor with players. But now you showed us the sideline reporter, the play-by-play man, even our own David Aldridge. If you want to play body language doctor with everybody who's watched the Washington Wizards over the last couple decades, it sure feels like there's something coming the next 2 weeks after that 35-point barrage. And I say the next 2 weeks because that's when the trade deadline is. And I don't want to overreact and say one game will dictate a direction for a team, but it's been coming for this team, right? And I think here it is in a wild finish. Okay, so Luke Kennard hits a bomb, 8 seconds left. All they have to do is inbound.
Yeah.
Nobody comes to the ball.
No.
So Kyle Kuzma just holds it, a 5-second violation because nobody wants to come to the ball. And then it's a 3-point lead. All right, it's a 3-point lead, so you just got a foul in the backcourt, and a leader on the floor goes to the referee and says, hey, we're going to foul.
Right.
We are going to intentionally foul. That didn't happen because they tried to foul Justice Winslow half-heartedly. They tried to foul Luke Kennard before the shot half-heartedly. Both Beal and Dinwiddie can't get a pass on that
The two leaders of the team.
Yeah, they've got to say something. And really, Dinwiddie could have stole the ball. I think Justice Winslow's pass was right there for the Pickens if Spencer Dinwiddie wanted to slap it away. And here we are. And I say it's been a long time coming because this team started 10-3, which seems like eons ago, but they've gone 13-22 since, and it feels like they are picking a direction here, which may be to implode this team. And I love the sound of the Washington's building during that 10-3 run, but it's a weird thing with the play-in tournament in that you can be a mediocre team led by Denny Avdia and Rui Hachimura and the non-Beal guys and be like a 10th or 11th place team.
Yeah.
It's like the argument going on in Major League Baseball. Some teams say, hey, why don't we expand the playoff bracket? And MLB says, well, then no one will go for it. No one will try and be part of that exclusive club of those 2, 3, 4 best teams in each league. And I can see that argument when you look at the Washington Wizards, because would you rather pay Bradley Beal come this offseason for 5 consecutive years at $48 million per and be an 8th, 9th, or 10th place team, or would you rather trade off Beal and be a 9th, 10th, or 11th place team without Bradley Beal? I mean, I think you could still be okay with a different makeup to this team where guys work a little bit harder. It took so many things to go wrong there, and it took so many things for this team to be, again, 13 and 22 in their last 35 games.
What's insane about all of this is that the Clippers have like 3 of the biggest comebacks we've seen in you know, quite a while. Not just this one, which was the second largest comeback in NBA history. The Zards coming, the Clippers coming back from 35, late in the second quarter here against Washington. But they've had other ones in the past like month. 20 plus, deficits that they've erased. So this is sort of their thing. And yeah, there's no Paul George in this game. Of course, no Kawhi Leonard. So it's pretty amazing. And you do got to give them some credit. And yeah, the Nard Dog, that bomb that he had.
Both of them,
huge
great shots.
And then, yeah, the 4-point play, even though, what are you doing? Justice Winslow had the ball. This is like not a good free throw shooter. Last I checked, he's probably like a 60% free throw shooter. I don't know, maybe a little bit better than that. Like, you foul him. You've given up at that point already a 30-point lead that you had. Like, just put him on the line and then hit your own free throws and you win the game. But that was like, they half-heartedly tried to foul him. He should have been fouled in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Like, right away. He's got the ball. Why does he have the ball? Foul him. He probably misses one anyway and you somehow escape. But brutal. I did see Tom Ziller, noted Kings fan. He said in his article this morning in his newsletter, quote, Sacramento owes the Wizards a fruit basket for pulling some attention off them. And that's what you were saying, Trey, because, like, what is worse? Blowing a huge lead? That sucks, but at least you had a lead. You played well for a half. Or in the Kings' case, they were behind double digits in a blink of an eye to a Celtics team, too. That is not, like, an elite team. I mean, they're getting it together here. They're finally starting to figure out some things out. They're getting some wins, but they're like not one of the best teams in the league. 5 minutes the game was over. Kings never led, never even got close. And Trey, you're always saying, first half leads, they're not real.
This one was real.
Yeah. So I guess my point is to set all this up is like I'm almost leaning towards the Kings being the more devastating because they're just not even in the game.
But nobody cares.
Nobody cares
at all. I thought the worst part of it was afterwards they asked, Tyrese Halliburton was asked, how do you let the stink of the Kings not get on you? He's like, I'm not going to let the culture of what the Kings have been run my life. I got to fix this.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was that's a good answer. I mean,
that's a great answer for a terrible question to be asked.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How do you let the team that you are signed up to play for the next 5 seasons, how do you let that not take over your life so you're a sad boy like De'Aaron Fox? Basically is what he was asked. Right. And he's like, well, I don't know. But we're gonna.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I don't know. Tom Ziller is right. The Kings should send gift baskets to the Wizards because losing a 35-point lead is a lot worse. You can tell because didn't the Wizards just got smacked as well? They lost by 29 to the Celtics, and Beal's like, this was actually 10 times worse. So he knows.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
He needs to be traded. If I'm the Wizards, no chance I want to pay him.
No.
To continue to be a 7th or 8th seed. We've seen enough of Bradley Beal as the number 1 guy. He was good as a number 2 guy. That's where he belongs, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're probably kicking themselves. They should have traded him when his value was much, much higher. Not that it's like you're not going to get a nice little all back. I think that's, he's still an elite player at that position. But, I mean, when he's scoring 30 per game is when you're probably really wishing you maybe moved him if you're ultimately going to. Now he's having a down year. The team sucks, and he might be... Well, he appears to be checked out, too. This whole squad does right now.
Yeah, a lot of loaded comments from him after this game about his future with the team. And he keeps on saying the right thing. On one hand, that he wants to be with the team. On the other hand, he's all about winning. And if they're not winning, then things could go awry. And as Trey said yesterday, everyone's lying right now as we head to the trade deadline. So don't believe anybody. Although I do believe the Pacers in that they're trying to blow it up. And I bring up the Pacers because I think there are a lot of sellers out there. And if you're trying to trade Beal in this next 2 weeks, Beal's value ain't the highest, but it's also brought down a little bit because there's other guys on the market. And we'll talk about all the Western Conference teams and who they could trade coming up in the next block. The Blazers could be trading some big names. The Pacers are trading big names. So does that bring Beal's value down, especially if we're looking at these next 2 weeks? I think so. I think that plays a part. But yeah, the Kings... Specifically with this question, the Kings just aren't a story because they lose games all the time. But this is a better story when we're talking about this Clippers comeback as they come back over and over and over again in the second half. They sat all their starters. They put their bench guys out there. Reggie Jackson, Batum, Zubats, sit down. Bledsoe play a few minutes, but the guys who did it were two-way Amir Coffey, Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, second-round pick. Those types of guys scored 40 in the third quarter, 40 in the fourth quarter, 80 points. That's a smack. Washington walked out. They walked out of their locker room at half and didn't give a flying poop. Like on any of those possessions, even when Luke Kennard hit that free throw, you got a second left. I thought the Kyle Kuzma inbound.
He's just like, who cares? He just chucks it.
Yeah.
It actually got to Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
He should have caught it. He
Yeah.
had a decent look at it.
But he was done.
He's like,
Everybody's
screw it.
done. They could have ran a little play. They could have ran that play that LeBron hit that game-winning shot in Washington a couple of years back, if you remember that beauty bomb, LeBron, spin, three-point shot. Now it's LeBron, and that was a nice shot. But the Wizards could have run a play, but they were all done.
Just a quick trivia question in regards to the Kings' loss. They were down 60 at one point in the fourth quarter, too, so they made it manageable there, losing only by 53. Who led the Kings in scoring last night?
Beno Udrih.
No. Any guess?
Well,
I'd give you the number.
Yorgos Papagiannis.
No. It's not that. It's not that crazy a name. Buddy Hield,
Okay.
11 points.
Bud.
What a dumb team.
Let's hear from everybody in the stream team.
Alvin.
With
Why did Alvin do this?
Okay, if
yeah.
the Kings called the Wizards, I think it was Hootski that said this in the stream team. If the Kings called the Wizards and say, our roster for your roster, straight up, who says no?
I think the
Like,
Wiz.
you think the Wizards would say no? I mean, theoretically, Beal is the best player between those two teams, but I'm like, it seems to me the more responsibility you give Beal, the worse the offense is and the worse the team is.
Right.
They haven't won 50% of their games since he's been the number one guy. They just keep losing.
Wow, that's
And he was struggling to begin the year,
Yeah.
and they were winning. That's weird.
Whoa, it's very weird. It is very weird.
I take the Wizards. I take the Wizards because I'm
Literally
trading.
nobody wants either of these
I'll
teams.
take the one team because I'm trading a bunch of them, and so I'm turning the Wizards guys. I think they have more value in terms of what they would bring back, but I'm not taking them because I want them to play basketball.
Well, yeah. Here, what do you set the over/under on if you take the Kings roster and the Wizards roster on how many of those guys are traded before the deadline? The number of players. I set the line at 5.5.
For each team or total?
Like combined.
Yeah, sure. That
5.5,
makes sense.
maybe even
Line.
4.5.
Yeah.
That's like a lot.
Good
of guys.
line.
Yeah, not a bad line.
Yeah, nice
All right.
line setter.
Thank you, man.
I'm going over.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
think I would too.
Somebody, you should be calling Tommy Shepard right now. If you're any team in the league, calling Tommy Shepard and say, your team's terrible, buddy. Bradley Beal doesn't want to be there. What? He's the number one guy in the trade market right now. I don't think Lillard is going to be traded.
Right.
Simmons, we'll see, but I'm taking Beal over Simmons for the most part. They should be calling. Tommy Shepard should be on the phone 100% of the minutes available today.
Well, let's hear, with all of these questions, with what you got from the stream team, for everybody listening or maybe watching later, give your answers on Twitter at NoDunksInc or in the YouTube comments. And yes, we're back to our light
Half a
issues
light.
here in the Classic Factory. JD's going to kick something. I can see it coming.
Kind of lit. We're kind of lit.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll power through here. Our next question. The better bounce back win, okay? Because both of these teams were coming off a loss, but they got a victory last night. The Lakers or the Raptors? Tass, what you got?
Well, the Lakers were part of our swear jar just a day ago. So for them to come back in a very demonstrative fashion, I loved watching this game. I loved watching Bron in New York. And I forgot about LeBron and how he loves to play on the road. He loves to put on a show.
Right.
And he said post-game, I didn't get a chance to play in Madison Square Garden earlier this year because I was suspended for a game.
Oh, yeah.
And this is year 19 for the man, so he gets up. He needs things to get him motivated, like anybody here. You know, this is year 16 for us on the Basketball Jones / the starter / the free agent / no dunk. So sometimes we need some motivators, and this was a show. It was great. Just the fact that Anthony Davis came back. How much of a spark did he provide that team defensively?
Yep.
He was just there in the lane.
He had 3 blocks in the first 7 minutes.
Right, and he barely played. He had a 25-minute game. He scored 8 points. So the box score means, you know, it looks bad. But the on-court performance defensively, just to give his guys that steady rock behind him, it's so different. And you know, I've said it. I'll say it again. Last year, the Lakers were the number one team defensively, with Dennis Schroeder being their point guard out front. but they had LeBron, they had Anthony Davis, and those guys and their effort level that trickled down to all their guys. So that, to me, is why Frank Vogel deserved to be the head coach until Anthony Davis came back, because they didn't have their full roster. Like Anthony Hardaway complaining about his Memphis Tigers and how they're judged by the media, they didn't have their full roster. The Lakers didn't have their full roster, but now AD is there. And yeah, AD was there the first couple months, you may say, but listen, he was also in chill mode too, the first couple months. So I think this is when they turn it on to be a little bit better team. And the fact that they're playing, look at their starting lineup. It's AD and LeBron. They decided, all right, Trevor, you have a seat. Trevor Ariza, have a seat. This is who they're playing around those two guys to start. Avery Bradley, Stanley Johnson, and Russell Westbrook. Just defensive-minded guys besides Westbrook as their spark plug, because they just want that intensity, and it worked along with their bench. So I believe in this Lakers team to be a far better team. They scored 27 transition points, and that was the difference in this game. The energy from Bron on down, especially with AD out there, a different team. So I got to go with the Lakers, because are we going to have a swear jar anymore?
I don't think we've really actually gone overboard with them.
Nah,
if
we
I'm being honest.
didn't actually put the jar out.
But what did you think of AD's return? I mean, immediate impact. He finished an oop and then hit a jumper. And like Tess said, not a crazy box score. He only played 25 minutes, but I thought you saw why they're a much better team when he's out there.
This guy's pretty good. I'm taking Dwight Howard off the top 75, sliding him back in right away, just like that. Sorry, Dwight. You had one day. But the Lakers, to me, look like the team they're supposed to look like. You mentioned the 27 fast break points. They also had 12 steals. A lot of that was LeBron was like super active. Those two dunks were incredible to see, though. I don't know. I couldn't help noticing, like, LeBron just doesn't jump as high these days anymore. He still jumps very high. He can still dunk. But that windmill, he was kind of on the way down when he threw it down. That was a little sad to me to see.
I was a tiny bit worried he was going to hitch himself on that.
But they were just so active, and I thought they were excited to have Davis back. They know that their defense looks the way it's supposed to, and that's the key for the Lakers. They're still not going to be a great half-court team. It'll be fine when it's Anthony Davis and LeBron running pick and roll come playoff time, but they need to get out in transition and score some buckets. So I thought that was really good. Held the Nets to 96 points. Not the full strength Nets team, but still holding the team under 100 is pretty tough. And they got Anthony Davis back, so a lot of return to form and a player actually returning. I thought that was great stuff from LA.
Malik Monk hitting a bunch of threes is always going to help too. Once they get into these playoff series, you're going to need some shooters out there around LeBron and AD. That's usually the recipe to have success in the playoffs with him. Did you guys see the clip of LeBron talking to Austin Reeves? People saying some galaxy ship brain stuff, and that Austin Reeves was struggling to compute what LeBron was saying. Here's the clip for everybody joining us on YouTube. All right, he's telling Austin Reeves, go over here, your man's over here. No, you got to get over there and then come underneath. Oh, Austin Reeves, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I said it was very similar to when Lee starts talking about the test cricket match in the 90s between England and Australia. And it's like us going, yeah, sure, I don't know, I guess so.
Yeah, looked also like Tony Stark explaining intergalactic warfare to Peter Parker.
Yes, true.
But I do think it's pretty instructive that Austin Reeves is pointing to the complete other side of the floor of LeBron. Like, what is LeBron seeing that he's completely flipped over on the other side? I don't know. I'd love to hear the breakdown.
Yeah, some sort of offensive play strategy that they're supposed to be doing there. Yeah.
So you're not going to side with the Toronto Raptors here when talking about a bounce back win?
I will say quickly about them, because again we have so much to get to still here. They did overcome the absence of Fred VanVleet last night, and then Scotty Barnes. So VanVleet was out with a right sore knee, and Barnes was a late scratch, like an hour before the game, because of a sore right wrist. So we get Pascal Siakam starting at point. Spicy P at the point. He was incredible. It was amazing. He had 12 assists. I mean, everything was sort of going through him. And this was just a really somewhat surprising and playing a good Hornets team and much needed sort of victory. Gary Trent Jr. was on fire. He hit a bunch of threes last night. And the Raptors without VanVleet, I saw Michael Grange with this stat this morning. Over the last, year, going back to last season, in 22 games VanVleet was out. The Raptors were 4-18. Like, he's very important. I saw Dan Devine's got Fred VanVleet starting for his Eastern Conference All-Star team. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, they're really bad when VanVleet doesn't play because he does everything for them.
Totally.
And Siakam really picked up the slack last night. So
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun sometimes to watch like a Gary Trent Jr. type of guy just fire away.
Yeah.
Like you have the license to shoot 20 times, and it paid off. He had 21 shots, leading the team in shots and banging home threes. But Pascal, bounce back season. We're talking about a bounce back game here. Bounce back season for him, and the reputation that he has. So much love. I find it odd watching Raptors games a lot of the times because they're still acting like they have fans out there. Toronto has 0 fans. Yeah. They have told fans that they are not allowed to come, and a lot of the time, still, part of the PA is like, "Here we go, fans, make some noise."
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it?
Our friend Will Lou put up a screenshot of what they had on the video board. Fans, get loud! Like, what?
There's nobody there.
Like, we can change it up. It's weird.
That's just for the Raptor.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
He's like, all right, let's go.
And even he can't make noise, apparently.
Get over there.
Booker's telling him to get in the corner. Yeah. All right, let's keep it going here. JD, let's check in with you real quick. Are you doing all right over there? I know the light's still causing you problems. Now you're turning around other lights.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get some candles during the break.
Ooh, we'll set the mood. Maybe we'll pour ourselves a bath. All right, next one here. Best box score of the night. Jokic, Embiid, or Anthony Edwards, who I have to note had 40 points and 0 assists as Wolves pulled out a close win. Yeah.
I gotta apologize here. Gotta apologize. No beef. No beef.
Wow, for Jokic.
No beef.
Wow.
I already owe a Nurkic beef. I know the Blazers fans are all about that, but Skeets, I've got a laptop the same vintage as yours.
Yeah.
That's my beef computer.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
It's clogged, buddy. Clogged up with beef
Really?
detritus. Can't find my hard drive. I gotta restart my computer every morning just to make the dumb pick'em graphic. Gotta let the beef build. So
Why are we falling? What's going on here? Why are we falling apart? We've only been in the Classic Factory for a couple of weeks here. We got computers dying.
Well, see, I brought my new one for the new Classic Factory. I said this is going to be a pure computer. I'm only going to look at the freshest streams. I'm never going to click a weird ad. And it's going to be perfect, but...
All right. They've seen a computer.
Yeah. You like this?
It's so
You like
new.
this?
Yeah.
I can tell you though, this one's gonna get clogged with detritus as well, which is too bad. But
Detroit.
So what's your answer to this? Is it Jokic, but you just don't have the beef, or is it Embiid, who's a monster still, or Anthony Edwards? With
that's a
crazy
great
legs?
question.
Yeah.
Great question. Thanks for asking.
No problem.
I would say it's a choose your own adventure, Skeets.
Jesus.
I know you're thinking I would go Jokic because of the beef. 28, 21, and 9. Only 9 of 20 from the field. I know that would hurt if you're making a woe boy choice. I did see Stan Van Gundy tweeted that there have been 12 20-20 games in the NBA this season, which apparently Quentin Richardson calls a Barbara Walters.
2020.
Yeah, sure.
Not bad.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic has 4 of them all in the last 5 weeks. That's pretty cool. Then I got dumb by getting smart. I said, what if I add up points, rebounds, and assists? Simple. Then it's Embiid. 42 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. That's 60. Jokic only has 58.
Oh, jeez.
Ergo, Embiid, better than Jokic. Of course, the Pelicans rested everybody. Didn't play Jonas Valanciunas, which was the big one. That being said, according to StatMuse, this is Joel Embiid's 5th straight game he's had more points than minutes.
Wow.
Eat your heart out, Bob McAdoo. Then I said, math sucks.
Right.
Ham really sucks. Math even worse. What's the coolest box score? Anthony Edwards, no doubt. 40 points, 9 rebounds, 27 shots, 0 assists. I love it. Afterwards, they asked him, what's it like to take over a game in the 4th quarter? He said, I felt like Black Jesus. So his line is probably the most underwhelming of the 3, but I like it the most. And the main takeaway from this is that 1 or maybe 2 of Jokic and Embiid is going to be very disappointed at the end of the season, because they're both going to have massive MVP-like numbers. Like, Jokic has been better this season than he was last season when he won MVP. Doesn't feel like he's going to win it, even though he's at the top of the Basketball Reference MVP tracker.
Right.
They're kind of in the same spot right now, honestly. They're both in 6th place in their conference. Both of their teams, the story has been more about who's not there than who's actually playing, and they just don't necessarily have the wins or the narrative right now. If either of these teams can win like 10 games in a row, somehow get into the top 3 of their conference, finish in the top 3, then I think they would have a chance at winning MVP. Otherwise, right now, it's too close to call.
It's very, very close. Of these box scores last night, though, what you got when it comes to the better one?
Well, I would go with Jokic because of how he was playmaking out there. Totally same scenario with the Sixers where you have to rely on him a lot more. And that's kind of the benefit of watching the Denver Nuggets play the Detroit Pistons yesterday. I know the casual NBA fan wasn't watching this game, but because they don't have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, they're not blowing anybody out. So Jokic has to be on the floor for 48 minutes. And it is marvelous just watching him do everything. What he does, what Embiid doesn't do, is Jokic brings the ball up a little bit more. The plays are made through him a little bit more. Obviously, the passing is a little bit through him a little bit more. And he just can react. Everybody knows on the other side that you got to take the ball out of his hands. He's going to make the plays. So the pressure's on this guy. And he is amazing. Just to watch, just pick apart everybody. So I watched this game because I'm a sicko, and I watched him dropping those dimes to everybody, and it's fun to watch him. It's obviously fun to play with him. The four guys on the floor, it's fun as a spectator to watch what they're doing because they know Jokic is going to drop each of them something. If I cut here, if I cut there, then if I take away one of his defenders somehow, then he's going to make a marvelous play. I mean, he's going behind the back as he dribbles up court. So I would take him, and another 20-20 game for him. So it's hard. The Edwards 40 points and 0 assists is pretty special as well. It doesn't happen he's calling himself Black Jesus. He says next year he's going to win the MVP. A lot of lines after this game.
This kid.
Yeah, he's special. So 3 guys noteworthy for very different reasons, but Trey's right in that when we get to the end of the year, Jokic and Embiid hanging around the MVP table. Unfortunately, even though Jokic has having a better season than last year, he's probably not going to win it.
Probably not. Embiid is having a better season than he had last year, and he finished runner-up.
Yeah.
I went
Wild.
to check, too. I forgot I did take Embiid in our season preview shows for MVP. And
Not bad.
Didn't look good for a while when he was missing a ton of games, but he's definitely sitting at the table, as we talked about, and he's just a monster right now. He is just like the Sixers wish the playoffs started tomorrow. Like, forget about what they're doing at the deadline. I mean, this guy can win. He can win you series. He can take you. He's playing at that elite level. Jokic is right there, too, that you are winning playoff series with that guy as your number one guy. We've seen it with Giannis. We've obviously seen it with LeBron. It's pretty amazing. You imagine you took those 2 guys off the teams right now? Like, how bad the Nuggets would be if Jokic didn't play.
Right.
And Embiid and the Sixers. I mean, it's probably a little bit better than the Nuggets, I'd imagine. Like, that, they would be horrible.
And they have hope that Jamal Murray is going to come back, and right now they're 4 games above 500. And if Jamal Murray comes back, the reason why I picked Jokic as the MVP is because I had the hope that he would be able to prop them up into the top 4 seeds of the Western Conference, and it ain't that far, especially considering that they think Jamal Murray's going to come back, and I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is lost for the season either. So there's hope in the latter half of the season, especially with Kevin Durant and his injury and things, and Steph Curry being ice cold. So things are shaking up at the table. People are going to the bathroom. People are taking their calls, and their seats could be stolen.
I think the table right now, there's only 5 seats at the MVP table. You're right. A couple guys have gotten up. Maybe they're at the bar or they're in the washroom or checking, if the time on their parking has expired.
Yep.
It is definitely Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and then I think right now it is Chris Paul and Ja Morant. I think those are the 5 sitting there, with Curry at the bar, with Durant. Unfortunately, he's outside right now. He's checking on his car because of injury and stuff like that. That's my 5 right now.
I think I would be between Curry and Ja Morant.
Okay,
I agree. Morant's definitely had he's the MVP of late between those 2, but you can't throw out the first 2 months of the season.
Hey, I'm totally fine with that. Maybe they're sharing a seat. All right, final one here.
They're small.
Yeah, better rookie performance. I did want to slip this in here because Cade Cunningham had a monster line in the Pistons loss against the Nuggets. Awesome line. Or Jonathan Kuminga for the Warriors, who blew out the Mavericks there last night. He barely missed a shot. So, Tass, what you got? Better rookie performance last night?
I got to go with Cade.
Okay.
The overall game for him was spectacular, and just like we talked about Jokic, so much on his shoulders in that game. On the other side of the floor, so much on Cade's shoulders just to create everything, and he responded. These are special numbers. With Kuminga, it's different, obviously, because Steph's still out there, Clay's out there taking off pressure, but Cade, to be able to shoot 14 of 26 and 6 of 9 from 3 with all that pressure, he just takes his time and gets into his shot. 6 threes for this young kid. And then he was instigating things on the other end as well. He had a great chase down block of Aaron Gordon. He had 4 blocks in this game. A 35-5 game, youngest in franchise history, passing Isaiah Thomas. When you're in that category, that's some good stuff. He had a slow start to the season, and he is, again, wise beyond his years, just like I keep saying about Evan Mobley and Cade. Like we just said about the MVP race, it seemed like Mobley and Barnes were way out there ahead, but Cade is definitely tracking them down, and he is so comfortable taking his shots at his own pace, creating for guys. 34, just to go over the line again, 34 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, creating for everybody. And he was asked about not getting calls after the game. Another wise comment. He said, listen, I control what I can control, number one, which sounds like, an Instagram quote for billions of people out there.
Yeah.
Smart. And then he said, maybe if we win more, we'll get some calls. So he's a cool customer. I'm sure his teammates, like Jokic's teammates, love playing with him because he gets everybody involved. So it's a bright future for Cade and that team, and we'll see how they shake it around the next 2 weeks here around him, because I think they're going to switch it up a little bit. But I would go with Cade over Jonathan Kuminga.
What about you?
Yeah, I think Cade is an easy choice. The way he was just bodying Austin Rivers in the post was pretty impressive. It looked like he was a 10-year veteran, and Austin Rivers was the rookie, to be quite honest. I mean, Cade Cunningham, I don't know. I know he started as a post player and has a wicked hook shot. I remember reading that in his pre-draft evaluations, but seeing him work on Rivers, that was pretty impressive. I will say Kuminga had the best highlight.
Yeah.
Huge dunk. Of course, 17 of his points came in the fourth quarter, which was all garbage time.
Yep.
But the dunk was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
I was feeling pretty vindicated watching the Cade Cunningham performance last night, because I think it was like, who knows, time is weird, but maybe 4 weeks ago, we had that whole debate here on the show in the Classic Factory about, like, if you redid the draft right now, who goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I remember, I think it was you and Lee at the time, talking about, maybe it is Mobley, and I think the Pistons, and I was like, nah, I still think Detroit would very happily keep with Cunningham at number 1. As great as Mobley had played, as great as Barnes had played, and these are reasons why. You see it. You could see it even when he was struggling. The guy is a damn awesome basketball player, and he's starting to just like become accustomed to the speed of the game and stuff like that, and taking control. Also, just the idea of like, this is my team. Jeremy Grant's the better player probably right now on the Pistons, but not going to be for long.
Not for long.
So awesome game. Kuminga had the highlights, you're right, and the good box score as well. But let's hear from everybody. Best rookie performance from last night, Cade or Kuminga. Okay, we're going to take our first break. We'll get the candles out. Sweet. Flashlights, maybe?
Lumos.
Oh, excellent. So when we come back, we will look at the top trade candidates from each Western Conference team. We'll be right back.
I've been a fan of Stan socks since way back in the day. I used to rock them when they first released their NBA theme socks years ago. I loved them then, and I love them now still. In fact, I have all of those pairs still, because they are so comfortable, even though they've been through the wash a million times. I've got like Larry Bird's iconic three-point shootout from Chicago in '88. I think I've got a pair even of Shaq and Penny on the Magic together. I will never get rid of them. And the best part is, Stance now has new products which include sweatpants, joggers, hoodies, and more. The best part about that, all of their clothing has stayed true to Stance's unique quality. So if you've enjoyed the comfort and creativity of Stance in the past like I have, then you're not going to believe what Stance has in store for you now. And even more collaborations, which I just love. Check out some of these. Star Wars, Bob Marley, The Goonies, Guns N' Roses, Biggie, Slayer. I mean, there really is something for everybody out there. And my connection with Stance started with socks, but I just can't wait to try their sweatpants because I know they will fit perfectly, they'll be nice and comfortable and cozy. Stance's philosophy is that you should never have to sacrifice your own individual style for the sake of comfort. And now you don't have to. Whether you're relaxing around the house, working out of the gym, or running all over town, Stance delivers its signature softness and creativity in a full line of active apparel styles from toe to head. Stance has got you covered. Head on over to stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code NODUNKS at checkout to apply. Enjoy the colour and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. Stitched different.
Are you guys planning to buy a car? I know you're not because you recently got one. Are you planning to buy a car in 2022? You might be.
I wouldn't say I'm planning to buy a car in 2022, but it's a possibility.
Okay, that's good.
I'm planning to buy a car by 2024.
Okay, well, here's what you need to know. You need to prepare yourself for a more competitive market and car shopping experience compared to years past. It's already confusing and stressful buying cars, right? Everybody knows that.
Yes.
But in 2022, finding the right car, or 2023 probably, or 2024, finding the right car will be even trickier due to inventory shortages.
Oh.
Edmunds. I'm talking Edmunds. You ever heard of Edmunds? It was new to me.
I mean, I've only heard of Edmunds because we get the same messages.
But you had never heard of it prior to that.
He plays for the Pacers? Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's an Edmund Summer.
I'm talking about Edmunds, guys, because they go the extra mile to make car buying easier by providing shoppers with honest car reviews and video test drives and online shopping tools and the latest consumer advice. Because buying a car is a big deal, which is why using a trusted car shopping site like Edmunds is a must to find a vehicle that suits your needs at a price that you can afford. This site, just chock full of helpful filters. Because again, this current car shortage means that some models are harder to find or maybe more expensive than usual. You might want to be a little flexible and consider, other brands, models, or vehicle types, and that's where that filter shines, right? You're checking out different SUVs or different sedans and stuff like that. Edmunds.
A lot of shortages out there.
Yeah. A lot of them. Car shopping can be overwhelming. Edmunds is here to help. Visit Edmunds.com and click on Edmunds Best Car Rankings to research and compare vehicles. That's EDMUNDS.com. Edmunds. We drive it like it is. Thanks to Edmunds for sponsoring the show. Welcome on board. Way to pull your car up to the Classic Factory. And we're happy to have you, Edmunds.
I've got the third ad in a break here. That's rough. How am I going to stand out?
My mind's wandering.
Yeah. Well, I really got to bring it, and I want to test the vocal acoustics here in the new studio. So sorry about this. Grammarly.
Grammarly.
You got me writing and revising Grammarly. Grammarly. Yeah.
Wow.
Well done, everybody. Best third ad in a break ever. Grammarly Premium.
Call it there.
Yeah, you could call it. Look, Grammarly Premium doesn't help my singing, but it helps my writing. When I'm putting some sentences together, I do not want to be thinking about editing, cleaning it up, or changing the tone. Can't have my fragile mind concern itself with anything other than getting the words on the paper. Because if I start thinking about something else, like singing, for instance, I'm lost, my brain is gone. Grammarly Premium helps me save time and work more efficiently. Takes care of clarity, word choice, and ensuring I don't repeat myself. It always makes sure I don't repeat myself. You can integrate it in your day-to-day or professional writing wherever you write. Start the year off right with Grammarly. Happy New Year, Grammarly. Our listeners can get 20% off Grammarly Premium at Grammarly.com/NoDunks. That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
All right, back in the Classic Factory. Let's get to some trade candidates for the Western Conference teams.
Yeah, it was fun doing the East yesterday.
I think it was more difficult doing the West. Yeah, there were some teams I really, really struggled with. We'll move through these alphabetically once again. Again, these are just guys on these particular teams that I could see that particular organization saying, okay, we could move this guy for whatever reason because maybe of a player you get back, maybe it helps your books, whatever. So, Dallas Mavericks, guys. I think it's two possible impending free agents because I don't think they're going to be able to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. and his contract, especially now. He just got injured last night as we wait to see how serious that foot injury was. But I'm going Dorian Finney-Smith, DFS, and Jalen Brunson. Again, for reasons. Yes, I know. The Brunson, he's played so well.
Yeah.
But You can't tell me there would be a bunch of teams that would be intrigued by him. You talked about the Knicks needing a point guard.
Yeah, that's a
My
good one.
God. Would the Mavs willingly trade Brunson if they don't think they're going to be able to keep him in free agency for Mitchell Robinson, let's say, and a pick of some sort, like a second-round pick or something like that? Is there a deal there to be worked?
That's exciting because that's a need for a need rather than teams looking for the future. Because Mitchie, I think, could help. I'm taking Lee's role here of using nicknames. Mitchell Robinson could help the Mavs in the front court and change their sort of log jam there. Would Porzingis move over to the 4 in that instance? Yeah, maybe Mitchell Robinson could sort of be like, the Warriors and the Lakers have had in the past. Mitchell Robinson starts, plays 20 minutes, then Porzingis moves over. I know it's difficult, though, because we say the Mavs need a playmaker, and then they're going to trade Jalen Brunson. Feels a little off, but I understand they have a lot of money locked up with other guys.
They do, but both these guys I did list, they're good players. So the Mavericks are they're in the playoffs. They're going to be in playoff series, so they want to obviously have some success here around Luka and Porzingis. But I just struggled outside of those guys to sort of find someone that made really sense. Because, again, I don't think anybody's taking Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah, not after the injury last night, but it is weird because they need playmakers and they need defense. The defense has been pretty solid lately while the Mavericks have been stringing together some wins, and a lot of that is Dorian Finney-Smith is kind of their best perimeter defender, so I don't know. It feels like the Mavericks need to make a move, and it's going to be tough for them to do so. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Dwight Powell, he's an important player for them as well. Maxi Kleber's an important player for them as well. But they have a lot of players who would be solid role players away from Dallas, just like they have been there, but they need something to take them into the next echelon of the Western Conference.
With Brunson specifically, like, what type of deal is he going to be looking at in free agency? That's like you got to start figuring out if you're the Dallas Mavericks. Like, can we or are we willingly going to pay him X amount? And if we're not, then you sometimes, unfortunately, go, well, let's get something in return.
It's going to be something like they've given to their own players. They gave Reggie Bullock, 3 for 30 or so, and Tim Hardaway that 4 for 75, probably somewhere in between.
I think it's going to
there.
be closer to Tim Hardaway Jr. than it is to Bullock.
Yeah, somewhere. I could see the $50 million range. 3 for 50, 4 for 60.
He's played great. He has played himself into a pretty good contract.
Yeah, so, and you want him on your roster.
Yeah.
I think it might be a year out that the Mavericks have to make a move because they've got so much money tied into those guys. I mentioned Reggie Bullock obviously hasn't worked out. Kleber, Powell signed through next year. They've got $140 million locked up already for next season. So yeah, they might have to wait until contracts expire next season. But yeah, things are going so well for them right now.
Bobby Marks, though, he reminded me Dallas has a possibly valuable trade asset in basically an $11 million trade exception that they created last offseason. Could come into play here at the deadline. They're well positioned below the luxury tax right now, $16.4 million of room. So they could get in some help. All right, to the Denver Nuggets. I have nobody on my list because they already made a move. This is the thing, right? They acquired Bryn Forbes from the Spurs as part of that 3-team deal that involved Boston. But go through their roster, and maybe I'm missing a name, but there's no chance they're moving Jokic. Obviously not Murray or Porter being injured. Aaron Gordon can't be traded and won't be because of his extension. So then you're like, Will Barton, Morris, a couple Greens, throw in your compost there, and Jeff and JaMychal. And JaMychal Green would have to approve a trade anyway. Campazzo, Bones Highland. I don't see it. I don't think they're going to be all that active here at the deadline. Am I wrong? You tell me.
Well, Jeff Green might get traded. He just might,
Yeah, but
there's like 2 or 3 teams he hasn't played for yet. So he might get traded.
It's like he's trying to collect them all on a card, like he's trying to get a Subway sandwich. Okay.
Yeah, play for 20 teams, get the next 10 free. He's getting close. But I'm kind of with you. It feels like their move is going to be getting players healthy, whether that is Michael Porter Jr. if he's able to come back, or Jamal Murray a little bit later in the season. And, Bryn Forbes is now going to be part of the rotation as well. It'd be nice if they could figure out a way to get a guard. And maybe if you've got Jeff Green and JaMychal Green, similar sort of players, play at the same kind of position. which is a valuable position around the NBA. So I don't know. I mean, like the Mavericks, JaMychal Green, $8.2 million. That fits into an $11 million trade exception there.
It does. Tass, what do you think? Or are the Nuggets like, they already made their move, they got a shooter in Forbes, and then their hope is we get Murray and maybe even Porter Jr. back. These are our moves that we've been, because of Jokic, we're a 500 squad. Wait till those guys come back.
Yeah, it feels like they just sign everybody every week. They're signing a G Leaguer or a 10-dayer or somebody deep in the queue. So I don't think they...
Right, Cousins, right?
Yeah, and because I don't think they deplete their roster anymore. I think they just try and add through Porter and Murray, who I have hope for will be back in the next couple months.
Okay, let's go to the Golden State Warriors then. I have James Wiseman at the top of the list. Now, he hasn't played. The number 2 pick from the draft a couple of years ago, but he, to me, would be him, maybe Moody. I think Kuminga does feel a little bit untouchable. We've heard reports about that. But if they're looking to move one of their young, very interesting prospects, he would be in the mix. Now, here's a proposal. Would the Warriors do this? Would they trade Looney and James Wiseman for Miles Turner with, let's say 1 first-round pick, be it 2022 or even way in the future, 2028, whatever it is? Is that enough of an upgrade to you for the Warriors? Go get Turner in giving up, obviously, a young player in Wiseman and then Looney? Or are you you're like, nah, let's just roll with Looney at that point and our picks?
You're saying the Warriors would give up a pick as well?
I would think so.
That's way too much to me for Miles Turner. I don't think Miles Turner fits at all with the Warriors. I think he would be a poor fit because he just doesn't have a lot of ball skills, and I always call him Miles the Learner Turner because it feels like he's trying to learn moves as the game is happening. Looney, for all of his limitations and not really being able to jump, he's kind of the perfect center for the Warriors. Never needs the ball, moves it, sets good screens, and can play defense. So I don't think they necessarily need to upgrade that spot. An upgrade would be nice, but I think they can survive with Looney. I think they need more playmaking, to be quite honest. Right now, it seems to be the only playmaking is if it's a hot Jordan Poole night or if Klay Thompson gets it going a little bit. So they need something to kind of take the load off of Steph Curry. I would be more interested in that than a big guy.
Yeah, I don't think they give up on their future. Kuminga looks fantastic, and James Wiseman's value couldn't be any lower because he hasn't played this season. And so they are in that perfect spot right now where present looks good, future looks pretty freaking good. So why would they mess with that? As Trey said, a slight upgrade potentially, but Kevon Looney's been playing great. He really has, and he's been healthy, surprisingly. He's usually in and out of the lineup, but he's been durable, and he has been a help for them. This is his best season, and he's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's good that he's actually playing, too, because it kind of feels like Draymond's going to be missing some time here.
Yeah.
Not a lot of confidence from Bob Myers in the interview, kind of like laying out like it might be a little bit before we actually get Draymond back, and if that's the case, you're going to like having the institutional knowledge that Looney brings.
Bobby Marks had this point that I saw, too. The Warriors have made deadline deals in the last 2 seasons, but when they were like going to the finals, like that stretch 5 years in a row, they never made an in-season trade. So that's fascinating in the sense like where do they think they fall right now in the pecking order of their title chances?
Right, and Steph always talks about the iterations of this team or the different segments of this season. First, we get to know each other. Then Klay comes back. Then we have our playoff push. And I don't think they mess with the chemistry more than Klay has already messed with the chemistry to some degree. And so, I think they just try and right the ship a little bit.
I see Terrence Ross's name linked to the Warriors too as an explosive off the bench sort of 6-man type of guy. They have sort of Poole in that role, so maybe it's a little overkill. But I've seen some linking of Ross and Warriors. Okay, to the Houston Rockets now. The Athletics' Kelly Eco says the Rockets say, no way Eric Gordon's getting traded.
Yeah.
Trey Kirby called bullshit on that. And I'm with you. Eric Gordon, I have as the top trade candidate from the Rockets. Christian Wood, we could talk about him as well. But EG, under contract through 2023-24, but non-guaranteed in that final year. Mm-hmm. And he's shooting 45.2% from 3.
You can shoot a 3.
Now, I believe Kelly Eco's reporting that the Rockets are saying, I don't know, we don't need to move him. Because I do think there's like some value in professional guy that's been in this league for a while, trying to teach all these young guys, how to go about their business and, obviously get their body right, keep their mind sharp, and like the grueling, the tackling a grueling season like an NBA season is. I think there's some value in that, and I get it. You want to have some of those vets around, and he's been playing awesome, but they're silly if they're not at least, of course, fielding calls. And if there's some deal that blows them away, it's too good to be true, then you're moving off Eric Gordon, right? Yeah, you would have to.
Feels like it's the time. It feels like Houston's moving in another direction, but I'm with you. You want vets in the locker room to help everybody out. It's like what's happening in Detroit as well with Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk and Corey Joseph. You can get an asset for those guys. You can get an asset for Eric Gordon. The contract is a bit of a hiccup, but you've got DJ Augustine being a vet there in Houston. That's enough veteranship, I think.
They got John Wall, too, if they really want vets in the locker room.
Right.
Hey, play that guy who wants to play for your team. I think Eric Gordon will be traded, and I think that teams should be calling about Daniel Tice. Remember Daniel Tice?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an actual NBA player.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he's there for the Rockets for some reason. He's got a long deal, but I would imagine some team could get interested in Daniel Tice, a guy that's played in the playoffs before.
Do you think a team would offer right now a first-round pick for Eric Gordon? With how well he's shooting?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
When you say first-round pick, there's always a PROT period afterwards. It's protected. So what's a first-round pick these days? If it's a protected top 20, are you getting from 21 to 30 a better player than Eric Gordon, former sixth man of the year, who's obviously playing to show that he can be on a championship team?
Right.
Let him play. I want to see EG on a championship team, being that sixth man, being the Jordan Poole role, being the Terrence Ross role. The guy can score. But yeah, the contract is a little bit of a hindrance, I guess.
Mm-hmm. To the LA Clippers, I have Serge Ibaka on this list for really solely because they would save themselves so much money. It's hilarious by trading Ibaka. $9.3 million salary. The Clippers would see their $94 million tax penalty shrink to $53 million. $41 million in savings they could do here in some sort of hypothetical Ibaka deal. So a lot of people out there think you call up Sam Presti.
Yep.
You say, hey, Sam, you want a second-round pick? I would love a second-round pick. Absolutely.
You know me.
What do I need to do? Well, you got to take Serge Ibaka off our hands. No problem. Send him over. Send him back to OKC, and we'll take a second-round pick, and you can make this happen. But I do have Ibaka there, and maybe there's other teams that feel like Ibaka's still got a little something left in the tank for a playoff push, but that's an incredible amount of money you could save. And your team is also, mainly because of unfortunate injuries to your star players, they're not going far. Currently constructed, so you're gonna probably do that with the books there, aren't you, Tess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what OKC likes to do. That's why they keep their salaries low.
Yep.
You got to hit the salary floor, and
Yeah, they're way below the salary floor.
yeah. So you could ingest Serge Ibaka's contract and not trade anything back.
Right.
Zip, zero. But you take a second round pick, and you're happy about it. Totally. And Serge Ibaka, unfortunately, he has looked a little aged since he has come back, although he could help.
He's a great celebrator.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
He was
hold me
celebrating like
back.
crazy
he
last
was
night.
pumped.
Yeah. He brings good vibes.
He does.
Ingest that contract.
All right, let's move on. Unless you have anyone else on the Clippers that you could see them moving off of.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Ibaka's good just because he's on an expiring deal. And like you're saying, maybe some team could say, hey, he's got enough for a playoff push here. And with the Paul George announcement, kind of like it feels like the Clippers are, maybe we make the play-in tournament, maybe we don't.
Totally.
Kind of a gap year season for them.
I absolutely agree with that. I think they are looking at their roster with the Paul George news and the Kawhi stuff. It's like, this is a bit of a lost year, but let's just get all our young guys reps. Maybe, like you said, they get into the play-in game, even into the playoffs, who knows? That's fine. That's great. And then we're like regroup for next season. But to save $40 million, they'll probably do that if they can.
Yeah, maybe the Bucks could talk themselves into Serge Ibaka being their backup center.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
He was in the Raptors locker room when they were able to overcome the 2-0 deficit in the conference finals in 2019, where he said, you remember when I was with OKC? You remember that? And all the people in the locker, Kawhi said, no, I don't. No, I don't remember. But he said, we came back from 0-2 down, and we did it against the San Antonio Spurs. So maybe, and then the Bucks can say,
Then they'll say, yeah, we were down 2-0 in the finals, and we won the finals last year. Who cares, Serge?
"Hey, get out of here, Serge. Sorry, you're cut."
Good point. All right, to the Lakers, the other LA team. There are only 4 things they're going to trade. All right? And we've gone over it before. 3 players and a pick. Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, DeAndre Jordan, sure, and the 2027 first-round pick, which is the earliest pick they could possibly move. THT and Nunn, you combine them together, that's $14.5 million, which means the max the Lakers could receive in a trade for the duo is about $18.2 million. And that's important because like some of the better players, like your Jeremy Grants and stuff, that wouldn't work with just those 2. So I don't know if you have anything to add to the Lakers. Those are the only pieces that they will be moving here at the deadline, if they do at all.
No. Nothing to add. The Excel sheet is hilarious.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
it.
funny when you look.
Weird to look at.
Yeah, with the Lakers team, they basically have like 5.5 players signed up for next season, and they're already paying them nearly $150 million, leaving the cupboard bare, as they say. I wonder how it's going to look in 2025 with the Lakers, and that's why a 2027 first-round pick. Trey said yesterday.
Might be juicy.
Could be sweet.
Could be sweet.
When they're starting Austin Reeves and others there in Los Angeles. They're still paying Luol Deng. Weird.
$5 million. $5 million for Deng. Who's taking a chance on Luol Deng? He could help in a
Mitch
playoff
Kupchak.
push.
All right, let's
What
go.
about Kent Bazemore?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Remember
Okay,
Kent
I mean, he
Bazemore?
makes nothing, right?
Yeah, he makes nothing. He could be a throw-in.
Yeah.
Throw him on.
Yeah, you're right. I should have included him in the DeAndre Jordan portion of that, if he's chucked in there. Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I could go Kyle Anderson because of, are they going to be able to make those make the books work with him in a possible deal when he hits free agency? That's a bit of a no-brainer, and I think it's a decision to be made. Now, they have immaculate vibes, as we've all talked about. Like I don't want to rock the boat too much with this great Memphis Grizzlies team, but the money is about to get tight for them, so I think instead of Kyle Anderson, I'm going to go Jarrett Culver. All right, so obviously a lesser name than Slow-Mo. The Grizzlies did not opt in, right, to the final year of Culver's rookie contract, so they did put themselves in a position where they cannot offer him any more on the contract than what his final year of that deal would have been in free agency. So 1 year, roughly about $8 million. Grizzly Bear Blues, which is a great name for a blog, they had a trade idea I want to throw at you. Only for the sickos, okay? Warning. This is a trade only for the sickos.
We're talking Jarrett here.
That's right. They send, Memphis does, Jarrett Culver, a 2026 first-round pick, heavily protected. 1 through 24, let's say, which could turn into then 2 second-round picks if not conveyed. 4, John Schumann, are you listening? OKC's Kenrich Williams.
Ooh.
Now, the thinking is that Kenrich Williams can be a bit of a replacement for Kyle Anderson if he is to leave in free agency. You know, he's like that sort of 3-4 sort of power or sort of point forward hybrid. He's not as good, but he does those things. He plays some defense. He's good for 20 minutes a game. And that's the thinking. That's a sicko trade. I mean, that's Culver and probably 2 future second-round picks for Kenrich Williams. Thoughts?
Wow. What is OKC? Why would OKC shouldn't do that? They
He said picks.
Picks.
Yeah, I know.
Instead of first-round pick, heavily protected, but then possibly conveyed.
I know, but you're saying that Kenrich is a poor.
Culver is a young, number 6 pick, wasn't he? You think?
It's not worth a first round pick.
No,
I'm basically
those
saying
days are gone. Unfortunately for Jared Culver, we were at the Memphis Bulls game in Memphis on MLK Day. Our buddy Dave Grisham said, "Is that Minnesota's Jared Culver running around out there?" Because he was a first-round pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves, but the stock has dropped.
Well, yeah, and there's no real spot for him on this team. There's so many good players. On this group.
He's got an expiring deal, and they're going to let him go. Can you turn Kyle Anderson to Kenrich Williams? If you can, you do it in a heartbeat. Because you said, that Kenrich is a poor man. No, Kenrich is a poor man's Kyle.
Yeah. He's good, though.
I love me some
he's
Kenrich.
good.
I think he could be a rich man's Kyle.
Wow.
A Ken Rich man's
Ken
Kyle.
Rich man's Kyle. There you go.
Kyle's good, but Ken Rich man can play.
Ken Richman.
And he's more in line with the timeline of the Memphis Grizzlies. Kyle's 28. Ken Rich, I don't know. He's got an old man's hairstyle with that froey mullet. I don't even know what to call that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I would love him to be a part of that Grizzlies team.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody knows how old Kendrick really is. It's literally
He looks
impossible
old.
to find out.
He
I
looks
think he's
very-
23.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
guessing.
27.
Okay.
Yeah, he's old.
That's the reason he looks old. He's 1 year younger than Kyle Anderson?
Yeah.
That's so much for your theory there that he fits the timeline better.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess
they
a little
need some
bit.
vets.
Kyle Anderson for Derrick Jones Jr.
Oh, you would like that. That's
Call it in.
nice. That's very nice.
Yep.
But what's Derrick? He's that's expiring for expiring.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. There's got to be more coming back from the Bulls in that case.
Second round pick.
Now we're talking.
Now you're talking.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing during trade season. If your team has an underwhelming offer, just put a second round pick on it. People are like, "Oh, a pick? Cool. Yeah, that sounds fair." Second round picks, like you're getting a player once every 5 seasons who's actually good. Sure, throw a pick in.
Let's go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I went with Taurean Prince. He's on an expiring contract. He is in and out of the rotation with Finch. He sometimes plays like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes a game. And then he plays like 4 minutes and he doesn't even play. It's really, really odd. I think he's one of those guys, like he's just a classic sort of 3-and-D guy, but is he really that? No one's really convinced he is at this point, I think. But teams talk themselves into players like that all the time, an athletic sort of wing. And, maybe the Wolves would move him to try and get more scoring, a little more scoring punch. Possibly Terrence Ross again. That name comes up. Jeremy Lamb, who's had a brutal year for Indiana. But if you still believe in him, bouncing back and becoming the scorer that he was. I got Prince. I don't really have anyone else. Does anyone come to mind on Minnesota as you peruse the roster? You're like stroking your Adam's apple right now, Tassin.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you see a lot of beard stroking,
Yeah,
but
he's like-
rarely to the neck.
Massaging the apple.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you shave under there and you get some wounds. I do anyways.
Yeah, sure.
And I like to just massage them out. My lesions. Anyway. Not really. I don't really, but I just happen to be touching that area. So anyways, while I was touching my neck, I was reading about Kenrich Williams' hair. A lot of people calling it the puffy mullet.
Okay.
That's a great term. Anyways, yeah, I know. I was also looking at the Wolves roster, multitasking. I've got a split screen. I got 2 browsers here on this one laptop. Taurean Prince is a real
Can we get a
Tony
close
Snell.
up of his laptop in case people don't know what a computer looks like?
Computers have changed from the first segment of this show to the second segment of this show. Wow, technology moves fast.
You got any beef stuck in there?
Yeah, I got
Yeah, it's a problem.
detritus.
See how much more boring the Western Conference is here?
Well, yeah, man. You
Taurean
picked Taurean
Prince.
Prince.
Well, who else? Give me-
D'Angelo Russell,
Nah,
dude. He's been in trade rumors since he got there.
well, that's the problem. Why has he been traded before then? Why is it gonna suddenly gonna throw in 10 second-round picks? Get me interested?
yeah, honestly, yeah.
Realistically, I just don't think he's gonna be moved. But he had a game winner last night. Didn't even talk about it. Anything about the Wolves? Nah, who cares?
Good luck.
All right. Well, it gets even worse.
Wait. What about Malik Beasley?
Yeah, okay.
I would rather trade for Malik Beasley than Taurean Prince if I was a team.
Okay. It's gonna same type of deal though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not gonna be great.
Yeah, you get 1 extra year plus there's a team option on Malik Beasley's last year of his contract, I think. So at least you get a little bit more promise, a little bit longer contract.
Well, if you thought that was bad, what about the Pelicans here? Can I interest you in Thomas Satoransky? Yeah. Bunch of buzz, though, that the Pelicans are going to be buyers here at the deadline and not sellers, which I think is fascinating. Seeing their name linked to a lot of the Blazers guys, like Norman Powell, who obviously just signed a deal with Blazers. CJ McCollum, if they really want to get a little juicy there and try and get him down to New Orleans. But if that's the case, or if they are making any sort of move, Satoransky's $10 million contract that is expiring is going to be included. So that's why I have him as the top trade candidate.
Yeah, I like Taurean Prince expiring.
Yep.
Tradable. Definitely tradable. David Griffin could put him on the table and say, hey, you're only going to pay this guy like 40% of that. Let's move on. Exactly. But yeah, the Pelicans are such a strange situation because of what they did in the offseason where they kind of sort of took a lateral step back, and they don't know what they're doing with Zion. It would be interesting if they were buyers. They need talent because they have Hart in Josh Hart and all those guys. They need somebody to they need somebody Norman Powell would fit. It would be a glut of guards, but they need somebody to score.
Okay, let's go to OKC here, the Thunder. Now, you already brought this up. They have one of the lowest payrolls in the NBA, meaning they can make any move they want, really, between now and the trade deadline.
Exciting.
They don't have to match salary for almost anybody. They could just absorb that contract without having to give back any salary in return. So that's important to note. Besides their own first, which is owed to the Hawks in the unlikely event it falls out of the top 14, which that's not happening. The Thunder have 12 future first-round picks from 9 different teams. Okay? Wild. So, who is at the top of their candidates that they would look to move? I think it might be Kenrich Williams.
Yep.
Though we're big fans of his. He is the type of player everybody wants because, again, he's a versatile wing. He stretches the floor. He plays defense. He does, he's a leader. You feel like he's 23, but he's 27. So that's nice. They're just a weird team trying to figure it out. I mean, again, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they should be aggressively trying to get Mo Bamba if the Magic are, ready to move off of all their big guys there, and Mo Bamba gets pushed out of the rotation a little bit or out of their future plans. I don't know if that's the case. I'm not reporting that. I love when people say that. I'm not reporting that the Magic are actively looking to get rid of Mo Bamba.
You're the biggest Bamba fan I know.
No, that's not true. Kevin O'Connor is a bigger Mo Bamba fan than I am. But that's the type of player that these teams like the Thunder should definitely be going, we'll pair him with our guys here in Shea and Dort and stuff like that and see if he flourishes. He's actually having a pretty good year. Right?
He is.
It's not bad. It's 10-8, 2 blocks, plays like 27 minutes per game. So is there something, some sort of deal that they could make to the Magic there? Yeah, they probably could if they want to. But I have Kenrich Williams. I don't know if you have any.
He is the one.
Okay.
He's a winning player. Somebody's going to take him.
So somebody's going to offer Presti enough to take him.
How
off
much
Sam's.
would it take? Sam, how much is going to take?
Hey, you want to pick Sam?
Yeah.
I know you want to pick, buddy.
Yeah.
Not a great pick.
How about Mike Muscala?
The Moose.
The Moose. $3.5 million this year, $3.5 million next season, a team option. Guy's shooting threes.
The Laker.
Coming back.
He's coming back to be a Los Angeles Laker to shoot threes.
I'll give you a top 55 protected second round pick for Mike Muscala.
If I could pick at number 57, I would take that.
Who's untouchable on the Thunder roster? It's SGA. Apparently it's not even Dort, but it should be. Weren't there there were rumors going around that
the Dort report.
That Dort could be had. Giddy ain't going anywhere. I think they'd be silly to do that. That's probably it.
Yeah.
Anybody else can be
Don't
traded.
trade Poku. I wouldn't trade him, but yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or Trey Mann. Trey Mann shouldn't be touched either.
Oh, wow. Now we got some untouchables. Phoenix Suns. Another shitty one, guys. I went with Dario Saric. Now, he's not even playing. He's out for the entire 21-22 season, I think. Tore his ACL in the finals, didn't he?
Yep.
He's under contract for next season. It's not brutal, though. It's a pretty team-friendly $9.2 million contract. So I think it was Bobby Marks suggesting like a Saric, maybe Jalen Smith, because you obviously have your starting center in DeAndre Ayton. You got to figure out what you're going to do with him in terms of money, and then maybe some sort of pick. Would they offer that to Portland, and would Portland want that for Covington? Let's say. I would think so. If I'm the Blazers and I get offered that deal. Are the Suns going to be really trying to make a move here, I think, is the question at the deadline. And if so, what do they need to do?
That's good. That's a very good value for both sides. It doesn't seem like Jalen Smith is going to be there for a long time. They didn't offer him his extension or the guaranteed contract, the option on his contract, I should say. So to pair him with an injured player for Robert Covington, who could be their Torrey Craig of the playoffs, that would sort of make sense. So
Saric, Jalen Smith, future probably protected first-round pick for Covington.
I'd go second. I think you could get away with
Blazers would sure like to get one of their first-round picks. Didn't they give up 2 to get Covington?
Yes.
Whew.
But you hope that Jalen Smith could be a future player in this league.
Sure. Anyone from the Suns? You think they'll make a move here on the deadline?
I would bet against the Suns making a move just because continuity's kind of been one of their strengths You know, they started with the 8-0 run in the bubble, went to the finals last year. They're the best team in the league through half the season right now, and that's just because they keep getting better and better, playing together more and more often. I guess you could ask the question, would they trade DeAndre Ayton? Chris Paul can make any center good. DeAndre Ayton is a really good player, and we saw in the finals he was really, really important. When he played their best, the Suns looked at their best. But if you're talking about, like, if they don't want to super max him, which he's going to get from somebody's going to give him the max in the summer, and they don't want to pay that, now would be the time to trade him.
Right.
I saw some things burbling. Ayton, Smith, Serge to the Bulls for Vooch, Patrick Williams, and 9,000 second-round picks.
Oh, come on. No. Suns ain't doing that.
Yeah, Suns ain't doing that.
No way. I mean, but I'm also thinking they're going to come to an agreement on some sort of deal. So if they don't think they are, then they'll want something in return, I guess.
I agree. I think it would be far-fetched they would trade Ayton, but I don't think it's 100% lock that he's there for his entire career.
Couple more teams. Blazers. I mean, look, I talk about a swear jar when it comes to talking about trades in the Blazers. It's Covington. It's Nurkic. It's McCollum.
It's Dame!
It's not Dame.
It's possible.
Dame will not be traded at this deadline. I'll bet you.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good bet to make and a bad bet to take by me. I agree. But just look at it. This is the time to trade him. This is the time. 32 years old. He's talking about his future and where it goes from here. I think it's unlikely, especially because he's injured and he won't be playing before the trade deadline. But if you want to try and rehabilitate your franchise after this era that has not worked out with McCollum and Lillard, it's time. I think it's time.
So you're going to trade him for Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Really? Right now?
And you're talking about the cupboard that the Philadelphia 76ers have of picks. Daryl Morey has got no problem emptying that cupboard. I'll give you all the picks plus Ben for Dame.
Thoughts?
Hey, I would love it. I wouldn't love it. I would feel sad for the Blazers fans. But, I mean, Tess is right. It's time. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Lillard is there until he gets that huge deal, and then perhaps we will see some movement.
Yeah, see, you got to do it now. You got to do it now, or else you're not going to get the same value for him, or he leaves on his own, or he demands a trade. Simmons is probably going to be, I think, the best player that you'd get back for him, considering his age. Simmons and Simons in the backcourt again. Love it. And Philadelphia will give you every pick they got. I don't know how many picks they have.
Here's my question with the Blazers. Who warrants an emergency podcast? Obviously, if Dame gets traded, we're jumping on the phone, or we're here in the Classic Factory and we do one immediately. But CJ McCollum gets traded tomorrow. Emergency podcast?
Yep.
Okay. Nurkic?
You betcha.
I mean,
Covington?
it's tough, man. We did a Cam Reddish emergency podcast.
But it was perfect timing. We were like, just finished our show. We were right here. There's no way we were driving back to the Classic Factory for a Cam Reddish trade.
We could do a live stream from our cars.
Well, yeah, we
don't
could.
touch the
Okay,
phone.
I just
put it on. Put the phone on the dash, lock it off, and just talk to the phone. Don't even look at it. Just drive properly.
All right. So you're basically saying we're doing an emergency podcast for any sort of trade.
Going.
Covington?
Keep going. This your little CJ Ellaby second round pick, a conditional second round pick, cash consideration. Yes.
we got to do an emergency podcast about a second round pick. Like, whatever the worst trade is, we got to do it.
All right, we'll try that. So a couple more teams. Kings. Oh my God, just like the Blazers. I have them in order, most likely to move here. Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III, because I think they're going to be paired together. Harrison Barnes.
I forgot about that guy.
And then De'Aaron Fox. There's been an emergency trade.
Call.
Spam risk.
Jesus Christ, this show is off the rails. I knew we shouldn't have done the Western Conference. I knew it.
I thought I was muted.
The Kings. Everybody available?
I think the answer is no. Tyrese Halliburton.
What suspense. Wow, what a
I decided in that instance that Tyrese Halliburton ain't going anywhere.
Okay.
If you have to package him to get off of somebody you don't want, No. Keeping Tyrese.
Okay. Tyrese.
Keeping Tyrese.
Everybody else could go.
Yep. And I think Harrison Barnes is probably the number one with a bullet to be traded.
Okay.
I think he would be the one.
Yeah, I agree. I think Harrison Barnes is the player that if you're looking at the Kings and you're a contending team saying we're one piece away, maybe it could be Harrison Barnes, a large wing, kind of a small ball four, hits threes, has played in the finals. I think he's the easiest to talk yourself into as an added piece. Or maybe Buddy Hield is as well, though his contract is a little bit more just shooting threes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to find an untouchable player on the old Sacramento Kings. I guess Halliburton would be the guy.
Are the Bulls like calling the Kings about Harrison Barnes?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Bulls are very, very quiet right now, I would say. Not hearing much, which tends to be the case with AK.
All right, San Antonio Spurs. I have Thaddeus Young at the top of their list. Same reasons as a lot of these guys I've mentioned with some of the previous teams. Expiring $14.2 million contract. He is obviously he can play the front court positions. He can play a backup five. I wonder if the Bucks. That'd be a wild little move there. Could the Bucks get Thaddeus Young as like insurance backup five position? He's obviously a little smaller than your normal fives, but he can play it, and he's just that veteran presence. But I think the Spurs, they don't make a lot of moves during the regular season. They already made one though with Forbes. If they get offered, it's not going to take a whole lot to get Thaddeus Young. I think he could be on the move.
Yes, optimist. If you love the trades, you say, look at the Spurs roster with all these first-round picks, all these young guys that they've assembled over the years, and you say, package them up for a Sabonis, package them up for a good player who's on the block. Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell, who they probably want to keep, Josh Primo. They've got so many guys at the guard spot. But realistically, and that's what we do here on No Dunks, we don't jump the gun and say everyone's going to be dealt. Thaddeus Young is probably the guy on an expiring deal. He's your Daniel Tice. He's in that Serge Ibaka family, tradable
For sure.
And a championship team would love to have a guy like that.
Yeah, basically the same exact thing as Bryn Forbes. He's on a deal that ends this year, a veteran player who makes more sense for a team that's trying to win right now. So that'll be weird. Spurs suddenly making 2 trades in the middle of a season.
Yeah.
Gotta do an emergency podcast.
All right, final team is the Utah Jazz. I thought this one was difficult. They're obviously on a bit of a slide right now because they're missing a lot of their guys. I just am curious whether they're going to trade a little offense for defense. And so the 2 names I have on the list that maybe they look to move, I think it's unlikely, but maybe Joe Ingles or Jordan Clarkson. Again, with the idea, let's get a little more defense in here for a playoff push. A wing guy. We got Royce O'Neal. He does a fine job, but we could probably use a little bit more. And, Ingles and Clarkson, they're not having great offensive years either. So maybe they look to move one of those guys. But I thought this was a tough team to pick, too.
They have that need, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conundrum, though, because you're still going to be starting Mitchell, Conley, and Bogdanovich as your sort of wing guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, is there a defensive guy out there that would match up for Ingles or Clarkson? I mean, yeah, it makes sense, offense for defense for them, but I don't know.
Don't love it.
I think Ingles is a little bit more realistic. It feels like his name is actually coming up in rumors a little bit right now, and his contract is expiring at the end of this season. A little bit of duplication, I think, with him and Jordan Clarkson. They were both the 6th man of the year candidates last year. So you can't have 2 6 men. One of them has to be 7th. Might as well trade the 7th one to get a different 7th man who does something a little bit different. I can see that happening, though. The Jazz are kind of a let's not rock the boat kind of team in general.
As we wrap this up here, which team are you praying makes a move in the next 2 weeks? For whatever reason you want. Is it the Kings? Is it the Blazers? Is it the Sixers for obvious reasons with Ben Simmons? Or another team that you're just like, I just want them to make a deal of some note.
I think it's Philly for me.
Okay.
Me too, because if the Philadelphia 76ers don't trade Ben Simmons, we're going to have 3 months of reverse trade rumors. Basically saying, why didn't the Philadelphia 76ers trade Ben Simmons? Here's who they could have had who did get traded. And then we're going to go into the summer, and we're going to have the same trade rumors about Ben Simmons once again.
I could definitely see these were the packages that were on the table. Yeah. Is it tampering if Daryl Morey goes on radio and says the Kings offered X, X, and X?
Yeah, I don't think he can name the players. But he can name the team. I honestly think he sort of said that.
Yeah,
even
maybe
on
he
that
can
one.
say like they offered a wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, be very vague about it.
Yeah, Barrison Harns. Yeah, that kind of.
Yeah, it's possible.
They offered a wing from Iowa. Could be anyone.
Yeah, that is a great point because when they inevitably don't trade Ben Simmons here in the next 2 weeks, then the Sixers are going to get into playoff series, and if they lose to Team X, it's going to be like, see? You could have had this player, and he would have sure helped to slow down that player that lit you up for 38 or whatever that helped for Embiid.
I mean, we still hear about the Lakers not trading for Kyle Lowry at last deadline. Right. We're like, could have had him for THT. Could have easily had him if you wanted to. Not to mention, we'll also get the questions of Sixers are looking good. I think Ben Simmons could actually play for this team in the playoffs?
For sure.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just got me thinking about the Jazz because I do want them to utilize this window that they have here.
Yep.
This is dumb, but Mike Conley for Marcus Smart.
Whoa.
Mike for Mark.
I don't love it.
The Celtics have a vet, Mike Conley, to get everybody going. He's old, obviously, unfortunately
I like
for
Conley
them.
on the Celtics.
I was going to say, I don't like it from the Jazz side of things as much.
He's right beside Donovan.
You're getting
as a secondary playmaker.
No, I'm going to keep Conley in this case.
Okay.
But the Jazz are weird right now because their guys aren't there, and they looked like one of the elite teams of the league, and now far from it here. Yes, struggling. But hey, if you're going to struggle right now, late January, and get it together for the final couple months. Okay, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, though, TK's got the tweet of the night, and I'm going to spoil it. We're going to be talking about this new Rising Stars format, which is pretty wild. Mm-hmm. So don't go anywhere.
Listen, with HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Forget about those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I love it because it takes all the dicking around about trying to decide what to have for dinner. A little confession here. I actually pick the meals myself, but I tell my family it's a surprise. So they think that HelloFresh is curating this box of food for us, but it's actually me making all the decisions, and it works out great for me. That's a dad hack for you. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the same quality, and you can save on average over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, including veggie, calorie smart, family friendly, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Recipes like hibachi sweet soy bavette steak and shrimp.
Holy wow. That sounds decadent.
It does sound decadent. Put it in a quiche. Bring restaurant quality meals right to your kitchen, while their white cheddar Wonder Burgers make it easier than ever to skip the takeout. And honestly, it's a great way to get your kids cooking. You can do it with them if they're younger, but I just make my kids make dinner. The step-by-step instructions are all laid out. It's super easy to follow, and it gets them off making meals like instant ramen and Kraft dinner. To be honest, when I make dinner, that's what we're having, the instant ramen and Kraft dinner. Go to HelloFresh.com/NoDunk16 and use code NODUNKS16, that's 16, for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/NoDunks16 and use code NODUNK16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
It's a lot of free there.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of free.
Yeah.
I got hit with a Happy New Year's this weekend.
Oh.
January 22nd.
Yeah, come on.
January
I don't know about
22nd.
that. That's 3 weeks in.
I went to play tennis with a buddy, walked on the court, hadn't seen him yet in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
First thing he says, Happy New Year.
Mm.
I responded the only way I knew how. New year, new eggs.
Yeah. Started hitting eggs out on the tennis court.
New eggs. Oh, it's tough to play with eggs, man.
Yeah. Soft touch.
Crack. Just like that. Now with these eggs. Just Egg is a cholesterol-free, plant-based egg that has about the same protein as a chicken egg and less saturated fat. Plus, Just Egg is packed with cholesterol-lowering polyunsaturated fat. Chicken eggs wish they were this healthy. Those dumb chicken eggs. You stupid fools. You wish you were this healthy, don't ya? You know what my favorite Just Egg brag is, though?
What?
Just Egg will give you the most decadent quiches of your life.
Yeah, can't say that with a straight face.
Sounds like a Rick Ross lyric to me. Decadent quiches in stores now. And so are Just Eggs. So if you want the fluffiest scrambles, the easiest egg sandwiches, the most decadent quiches of your life, try Just Egg today. Just Egg. Really good eggs.
But not. But they are.
New year, new eggs. Just Egg, really good eggs. No shells.
Quiche, man. Quiche, I don't have enough quiche, but every time you eat a quiche, you're like, I should be eating more of this.
I just wish it was a little bit more decadent. That's what I say anytime I have a quiche.
Good point. Back with No Dunks in the Classic Factory. Before we get to Trey's tweet of the night, somebody in live time here tweeted me, Matthew P. Upshur. He said, you just asked on the pod what it would look like to remove Jokic or Embiid from their teams. Here's an interesting way to look at it. And he pointed me in the direction of this tweet from Andy Bailey, who says, the Nuggets have the point differential of a 63-win team with Jokic on the floor and that of a 10-win team when he's off. The 76ers have the point differential of a 58-win team with Embiid on the floor and of a 37-win team when he's off. So, there you go. The numbers have our answer, at least in terms of point differential when we're talking about removing those guys.
Jokic MVP.
Lock it in.
Also at the top of Basketball References MVP tracker.
Lock it in.
He's going to be the advanced stats MVP guaranteed.
Lock it in.
Love it.
Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter. 3 tweets of the night. They've already been seen by everybody out there, but we're talking about them right now. First one from Shams. Sources, the NBA has a new format for the Rising Stars at All-Star Weekend. 4 7-player teams competing in a 3-game tournament. Each game has a final target score. It's going to be 12 rookies, 12 sophomores, and for the first time, 4 G League Ignite players.
Okay.
Interesting. Second tweet from Shams. The Rising Stars at All-Star Weekend will have a clutch challenge in the middle of games 2 and 3 where 8 NBA and G League Ignite players are divided into 4 teams of 2 to make 5 baskets from locations of iconic NBA playoff shots.
Yes.
Third one. The 2 semifinal games will be played to a final target score of 50. The final game will be played to a final target score of 25. That's a total of 75 points in honor of the NBA's 75th anniversary season.
Wow.
That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of
Let's talk about
changes for the Rising Stars Challenge, which I'll say, worst part of All-Star Weekend currently is the Rising Stars Challenge.
100%.
Yeah, so this is a little confusing how it's actually going to happen. Once we see it happen, it's probably going to be better than what's currently going on because the last 5 minutes of the current Rising Stars challenges, it's almost a dunk contest, right? It's like, okay, let's see Jalen Green. Let's see what kind of cool moves you can do. So even though this seems pretty crazy and they're like, we threw every idea we had for a basketball into this one tournament, that's kind of what it feels to me. This is like making a decadent quiche. Throw in every vegetable you have in the fridge. Why not? Potatoes? You got leftover French fries? Throw them in. I don't care.
Huh. I had no idea that was what a quiche did. But yeah, go on.
I would say frittata is more for the junk. But, same difference. It's just all about the crust is the difference. Nonetheless.
Throw your whole quiche sink out there. Everything but the kitchen sink.
Everything but the kitchen sink would be a good name on a menu. Hey, what are we?
I thought you were having a stroke for a second, honestly. I was like, is he okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
You got there.
Might be a little juice, though, for the old Rising Stars challenge. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My other question for you is, what shots do you think they're going to include?
Yeah, that's fun. Okay,
Playoff
hold
shots.
on. This is called the Clorox Clutch Challenge. This is 2-ball.
Bleach ball.
I mean, do you remember two-ball? I mean, we're the weirdos
I do.
that
I remember
do remember
two-ball.
all the All-Star Weekend events. That's basically what this was. It was teams of two. You took shots. You alternated shots. That's what they're doing here.
Yep.
And I remember liking two-ball, so I'm excited to see it come back in some form here. But yeah, where will the shots be? Mark me down for a Damian Lillard walk-off bomb.
Nice.
So I'll take one of those. Put me down for a Jordan.
Jordan at the free throw
Jordan at
line.
the free throw line.
Maybe a Derek Fisher, perhaps.
I'm thinking it's going to be players on the top 75 list, though.
Ray Allen, corner 3.
Bingo.
Magic Johnson, skyhook.
Similar location, I guess, to Jordan, right? Where was he?
He was in the lane.
Yeah. All right.
I think that one's a guarantee. Kawhi Leonard's bounce shot?
You gotta replicate it.
It just says from the location.
Yeah,
like you're saying, they're just gonna be shooting there.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
back up like Ray. You just have to shoot it, you know?
That's a good point. Just a corner 3.
Right now I'm on a Lillard. I just think that's going to be there for some reason.
sure.
A Lillard. I like the Ray Allen corner, and I like the Jordan at the free throw line over the Cavs. Maybe even just Jordan's jumper against the Jets. I guess that's a possibility too.
I mean, they could do 5 Michael Jordan shots
Yeah.
if they wanted to. So I think a free throw is what it's going to be, because that could be the Jazz shot or the Cavs shot. Take your pick.
Right.
Yeah. Top 75 part is interesting. Otherwise, you could have what the stream team mentioned here. Phil Law 123 says Kyrie shot on the Dubs. Sidestep 3 there.
Yeah. I have
From
a
above the
feeling
break.
it's going to be shots of players on the
Maybe.
on the top 75 list, 76 list, I guess.
But I guess maybe you got that in your brain because some of the top 75 members will be coaching these
Yeah.
teams here
Yeah.
on the tournament on Friday.
I just think the synergy
There's a lot
of
of
it
things
all.
happening. Yes,
Yeah.
of
A lot
course.
of
It's
things.
top 75 weekend. We'll be celebrating the top 75 weekend ourselves with the little no dunk spin. That's a tease for you coming up. But I think Friday, yes, it's complicated, as Trey said. Everything you've ever heard about a basketball game, the Elam ending, shots from locations, a tournament, and sort of like a halftime event. It's all complicated when you're reading 4 tweets. I read it over and over and over. But yes, zoom out. Friday, even for us sickos, every All-Star weekend it's a bit LOL. It's just it's the anticlimactic part of the weekend where the rooks and the sophomores get in there and they throw the ball up and they don't care. But Elam endings, they kind of solve everything. You know,
You got to play for something.
Yeah, and so you'll have 2 games to get to 50. You'll have this event before the finals, and that's followed up by a game to 25. So
That adds up to 75.
Yeah.
Total points.
so done and done. I think it'll be interesting. It'll be better.
Maybe. I mean, better because they're shorter games, I guess.
You got something. One, you got something to play
I don't think
for.
it's a lock they're going to be better.
I think the night as a whole will be better. You got something
Okay.
something to play for. Again, the Elam ending. You've got this eventual thing you got to get to, and fans know that at home. So yeah, mess it up. Like we just saw what happened in the NFL playoffs in overtime. You don't screw with things in the playoffs, but when you're talking about an All-Star weekend, screw it
Get
up.
creative. Okay.
Yeah. So Friday is better.
You want to get creative? I've got a great idea for an All-Star Weekend event.
Sure.
Must-watch event would be the best event of the weekend, guaranteed. It only works during the 75th anniversary. We get every player on the 75th anniversary team, line them up. Can they still dunk?
Wow.
Michael Jordan, you think he can still dunk?
Yeah.
Shaq?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yes.
Wow. He's a big guy.
Big guy?
He's
old
old.
guy?
I don't know.
Shaq couldn't dunk for a long time after his career was over. Remember? He would try in the
Yeah, but
NBA
I think
TV
he can
studios.
now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he can now. Dr. J, I remember, would have
Yep.
his famous things like every year he would go out on his birthday and dunk. Magic Johnson?
No. No way.
He's working out on a boat, but he looks a little heavier.
Can they dunk? I'm telling you, this would be must-watch
It
TV.
would be.
Every legend in NBA history? Man, I wonder... Bob Pettit. He's still alive? Can he dunk? Let's find out.
I like it. Yeah, would be the year to do it.
This would be the year. This
You'd
would be
have to
the
have a lot
only
of
year
like,
to do it.
unfortunately, a training staff and stretchers all lined up. There'd be a lot of blown out.
Just one
knees
jump,
and
though.
Achilles.
Just a single jump. Dominique Wilkins, can he dunk?
You betcha.
Do you? Do you?
I'll bet on it.
Oh!
Be tuning in to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
back to like the little tournament here. How are they gonna do like? how are we doing the drafting of teams? Are we just gonna like get the rosters and then the league's just gonna put them on squads? Is that what's gonna happen? Right? Because it's gonna be a jumble of rookies, sophomores, and then these couple of Ignite players. Is that what's gonna happen?
I think so.
Yeah. And you're fine with that?
Yeah.
You don't want them. You don't
I'm
want them
not
to
too
line them up
worried.
and pick the teams.
I would be pissed if I was the 25th Rising Star and I got left off for a G League player. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I don't know about that.
Or if I was the 5th best G League Ignite player.
That's more like it.
Emergency podcast for G League snubs.
Yes. All right, well, let's hear what people think of this new Rising Stars format. Are you going to be tuning in on Friday night to see this little tournament, to see this new challenge? Did you even tune in to Friday night's Rising Stars game as it was?
Right.
Because that was the one I definitely checked out the most on.
Of course.
I'm like, I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah.
I don't need to sit here for a couple hours.
Celebrity game is better than the Rising Stars game.
Yeah.
Maybe they should get a 4-point line.
Is that happening? Probably not.
It's a great question.
Probably not.
It would be nice when they announce all these changes to include who is playing in these games already. Like,
Really?
say LaMelo Ball is going to be out there. Why the heck wouldn't you get excited for that? to
Yeah,
some
that'll be
degree?
coming. Don't worry, right?
I know.
That'll be content we'll be talking about.
I know.
Debating the
But we could be
13th
debating.
sophomore not to make the cut.
But we could be debating if LaMelo Ball will be the guy shooting from the Damian Lillard spot. Will he make it? You know, that kind of stuff.
Lots of time. I do like my final note on the actual challenge part. There was like in the details on NBA.com. They're doing the thing where, the first team goes, they set their time, and then the second squad comes up, and if they just have to beat that time to advance. You know what I mean? Like, so the first team sets the mark, and then it's just like, oh, next team, can you beat that? Oh, now you've got it. Can the third team beat it? There's no like
Advance to what?
Well, it's just like the best time obviously wins. There's no redoing of it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, you only get one crack at it.
Yeah, you're not advancing. It's
Yeah.
one team wins.
But so is the winner of the Clorox Challenge?
Yes, fastest time.
That's different than the winner of the Rising Stars tournament?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a team of two.
They have the shootout thing. That's the Clorox. And then there's the games.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Yeah. No, definitely. They're two separate things. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they have a little tournament, the shots that we're talking
there
about.
are going to be
the playoff spots.
four things happening on Friday night. 3 games, 2 to 50, 1 to 25, the finals, and then this Clorox Challenge, which is basically 2-ball.
2 games, and then they shoot from spots that playoff legends have been made before, and they have a race. It's a race to make the shots.
That's exactly right.
Then
You
they sit
gotta
down,
alternate.
and then the tournament resumes
Yeah,
to 25
all right, let's
points.
get them back out here. It's going to be hilarious.
I don't know why I thought that the Clorox Challenge was like part of the game. If you win that, you get 5 points off your Elam ending or something like that.
No,
Clorox.
different. They're
The
different.
Clorox thing is just strange. Clorox and basketball doesn't seem to mix. Maybe they'll clean the floor.
Yeah, it's possible.
Losers have to clean the floor.
Let's hear everybody's
With Clorox.
thoughts on this madness that's going to be going down on Friday night. Are we doing a watch party for this?
Yep.
Only for the challenge part. Only for the challenge.
Oh, only the challenge. Okay. Pick 'em results brought to you by BetMGM from last night. It was the Lakers-Nets game. Lakers were favored by 3.5 on the road. You know, we had AD possibly coming back. He did come back. He played. And the Lakers looked pretty solid there. Nets shorthanded. No KD, of course. No Kyrie because they're at home. Harden had his triple-double, but they lost, and that's an L for Tass and Trey, which is fascinating because Lee was with me taking the Lakers. We got the victory. I'm 10-6. I'm clear of these guys. I will not be having to owe another pick and payoff. I already owe 2 still. But you, 2 guys here, and Lee, who's still playing with Lego at home, are all 6-10. And there are 4 nights left in January for us to pick games. The rest of this week, tonight, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday is January 31st. So
you're not clear?
I guess I'm technically not clear. Well, I mean,
I guess, because
I
we're
almost
not
have to
taking
be.
opposites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm clear, baby.
Congratulations, man.
Okay, so what's our game tonight?
The Dallas Mavericks have been playing very well, although they're coming off a loss last night. Golden State Warriors was a 37-point smack in the end. Playing against Portland Trailblazers team that also has been playing better. 6-4 in their last 10. So Dallas going into Portland, both back-to-backs. Portland, a 4.5-point dog at home. So I'm comfortable taking those 4 points while you guys believe the three of you all believe that the Mavericks will win by 5 or more because, again, they have been playing their best ball of the season.
Yep. Both in back-to-back situations. Obviously, the Blazers staying at home. They're helped out there, and you're right. They got some points to play with. This could definitely be a close game. But I like a little bit of a bounce-back performance from the Mavericks.
Gotta be a bounce back. Also, I think it's the third game in 4 nights for both of these teams.
Ooh.
Gonna be an ugly one.
Could be.
I do believe this shall be an ugly game.
Okay.
A lot of games on the sked this evening.
Good luck to you. Thank you to the Stream Teamers for joining us for another long episode from the No Dunks Classic Factory. Send in your questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc, and grab yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. Nice deal on right now to get all that gold content, especially as we get closer to the deadline. We got all our guys and gals plugged in to all these teams. I think there's like a
live blog.
There's a live blog with like
It's already
the juicy
started.
reports. Wow, they already got it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go to theathletic.com/nodunks to get yourself an Athletic subscription. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, hit up the No Dunks YouTube channel later today. What is it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Nice little treat for you. Top 5 fun. I won't say what it is.
Ooh, you don't want to spoil it. You don't want to spoil it. Embrace the day, people.